Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm going to show you how to make this, I don't know what to call it, trifold, center panel card, some kind of pop-up, I'm not sure. I played around with some cardstock and put this one together. So it's quite a showstopper, so I'll add it to the showstopper playlist. But the front is quite plain because it's designed to be displayed open. So it's a happy birthday card, and then when you open it up, this piece pops out in the middle here. Now I do have some very similar kind of styles to this, but they slightly vary in some way. So I'll share that playlist up here if you want to check out some other similar ones to this. And you know, you might want to incorporate it and make it bigger like I've done with this one. But I've just gone for this jungle theme. I think it looks really cool. I love the bold sentiment in the center, and then that lovely paper that I've used, and I'll show you all that in a moment. Little googly eyes on the little monkeys there, and then you've got space on the back here to write your message. And then this one folds flat. You just have to fold that over, bearing in mind you're only going to fold this down once. The next time it's opened, it will then be kept open and displayed. You'll see there's a bit of dimension, so it'll fit in one of my box envelopes, and I'll link those ones up in the video as well and in the description box below. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward to make as well. It's just a little bit of scoring and cutting to do for this one. So let me show you how. So I'm going to use maybe one or two of these images. These are the lovely animals from my Just Hanging Around and Just Chilling stamp sets, but we'll get to that later on. And I'm going to team it with this paper pad here, which is the Jungle Dreams from the Works. It was only £3. I got this one not too long ago, so it should still be in the shops, but I thought that would work well with the stamp set. So you're going to want, first of all, one piece of 10 by 7, and this is going to be the center, the middle of the card. You want to score. The easiest way to do this, you might find you want a ruler as well. You want to start at the 1 3/4 marker, and then you want to look at the 1 3/4 marker here, and you want to hover your stylus at the 1 3/4. Hover it all the way down until you get to the 1 3/4 here, and then start scoring. So I can just feel the track there. So I'm going to start scoring at 1 3/4 down to 5 1/4. I want to create a 1 3/4 frame all the way around. Okay, so you're just scoring so that you've got 1 3/4 that you haven't scored here and 1 3/4 that you haven't scored here. Next, just rotate the cardstock, and the end of this score line should line up with the 1 3/4. So again, all you need to do now is start from the end of that score line. Use your ruler if maybe you've gone a little bit further down, because you do want to make sure these stay exact. So I can feel the track again now, and it's at 1 3/4 here. And then you're going to score all the way down to 8 1/4. It's best to be a little bit shorter, then go past it. You can always join it up at the end. Then again, rotate, and that should be, the end of this again should be at that 1 3/4 mark there. I'm just using my ruler just to make sure that I get that back in the track, which I can feel there. And again, I'm going to score then down to 5 1/4. I've done an extra score line there, you can see, but I'll rub that out in a minute, because you can kind of get rid or fade score lines. So again, I've just come down to the 5 1/4 and then rotate. And now all you need to do is join up the end of this one with the end of the original one there. So again, I can see that's exact, and that joins up perfectly with the original one. And then when I go back that way, I'm back to where we started again. So if you've made an extra score line like I have, can you see there? If I just get rid of this for a second, just flip it over, and where you've got the raised side, just use something with a flat edge, and you can just push it back down. On white card, it works really well because it just becomes very, very faint. And once you add your pattern cardstock and papers and stuff, you just won't notice it. But you can see from the back it's almost gone completely. And then when I flip it over, you can faintly see it, but it's not got that marking anymore, so it's really easy to just cover now. I'm just going to go back over that proper score line. There we go, because I've rubbed that out a little bit. But apart from a little bit of a shine, you shouldn't really see the score line anymore. So now we just want to focus within this rectangle here. So we want to create a middle score line at 5 inches all the way down. This is along the long 10-inch side. That's the halfway. That's half of our 5 by 7 card. Okay, then we've got these two pieces here. We want to score halfway, which is going to be 1 5/8 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 3 3/8. You want to miss the top part again. lay your ruler down. So I'm just hovering my stylus all the way along that bit, and then I'm going to score just in between here. And again, we want to do that here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be at 6 5/8 is where you're going to score this next part. So again, sit the ruler down, hover it along there, and then score just in between those two. And I'll hold this up. I might put a template up as well on my blog so you can use that. But now, if I just let that catch the light, you can see the score lines. So you've got your 4 sections now within this rectangle, and then this frame here is an equal 1 3/4 width frame. I thought we could go quite big with this because it's quite a wide section here. You can have quite a, well, I say big section to stamp on, but it just still gives you a nice amount of space. But I really wanted to show off the pattern paper. So that's that piece, and then you want these 2 pieces. You might decide you just want that piece and you just want that as your card, but these are the front and the back pieces. So these are 5.5 by 7. Along the 5.5 side on both pieces, you're just going to score at 5 inches, and then you can just fold and burnish. I've already done that one, both of those pieces, and they're going to be the tabs, and they will attach either end to this piece here. Next, we just need to do a little bit of cutting. Okay, so make sure you've got a self-healing mat or some kind of craft mat. You don't want to be cutting into your table, and you want a metal ruler or something with a metal edge. This one here has a metal side to it. Now, when you cut, the reason I say that is because when you want to cut with a blade, you want to push it slightly angled into the ruler. If you've got a wooden ruler or a plastic ruler and it's a very sharp blade, it will end up catching and just cutting the ruler itself. Whereas with this metal, it will just glide down the side. So you want to lay your ruler down, lining it up with the longer score line. So you've got that middle section. We're cutting now down these 2 here. You're not going to cut any of this or any of these ones. It's just the long score lines in the middle there. So pop the ruler down. Make sure you can see the start of where you want to cut, and then place your blade and push down with the ruler and angle that blade into the ruler. Really push down so it's not going to slip. And you want to try and do it in one pass. If you stop and then join again, you might find that you cut into the card not exactly where you started, and then you'll just have bits showing. But you can see now I've cut that away. And then again on this side, I'm just going to pop it down like so. Again, angling that blade into the card and then just cutting straight down. You'll see now we've got this piece like so. Next, we just want to do a little bit of folding. So actually fold it all in half. So right down through the middle. Okay, next what's going to happen is these pieces are going to be mounting folds, which automatically makes them mounting folds because it's pushed that piece away like so. But we want to now bring this back to the front again. So the next score lines are going to become valleys, which means the middle one will become a mountain, and then that one's a valley. And can you see it's just automatically gone into that shape, and you'll see it fits perfectly behind that frame because of the measurements that I've given you. So I'm just going to burnish in here. I'm going to hold it up again a bit closer just so you can see all of those folds. Make sure you burnish every score line. Again, if I go that way, you want to have this W shape, and then the main card has that mountain. It's then going to be that way, and then these 2 pieces are going to stick behind each one here, and then you've got your card like so, and then we're going to have our little scene and our image and everything there. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and started to stick down the mats and layers. So I'm going to show you the sizes and how to cut this one. And then I've got one more of this one here to stick down. And I've already done a lot of other base pieces as well, but I'll talk you through everything. So you want 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then flip it over. And what I did is along one of the long sides, just mark 1.5. And then again, come in this end. You'll see there, 1.5. Do the same on this side, and just draw a line connecting. And then just on the short side, you only need to do the 1. Just come in at 1.5 and along the bottom as well, and join that up. You're then going to cut away all of this section here, and that will give you that C shape which will fit perfectly into the shape on the card blank. Now I've got a non-directional paper, so once you've done one in the right direction, okay, just then pop it onto the other piece that you want to cut with the print to print, and just draw around it. And then when you open it up, you'll have the reverse with the images or the direction, you know, the right way up. Mine's non-directional, so it really doesn't matter. But you'll see now when I stick that down, I get a nice white frame and it fits in there perfectly. You then want to cut yourself 4 pieces of 1 3/8 by 3 1/4, and they're going to go on each of those sections there. So I'm just going to stick those 2 down. Okay, and then when you fold it all up again, you can just push that all down. And this is what I said about, you may just want this piece to be the card, or you may just want to have the back, just that one on. So when they open the card, this is what they see, and then they pull it out and they just have the 1/2. Entirely up to you. So I've already gone ahead and started sticking down all these mats and layers, and I've already done this half here. So these mats here, you'll want 4 because you'll want your piece to go on the back as well. So this is the back, and I've already stamped my piece there to write my message. So these larger pieces are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I've done the one for the front as well, and just stamped a simple sentiment with a little bit of decoration, just with a hint of what's inside, because the idea is, like with most of these cards, meant to be displayed open like this. So I don't really want to spend too much time on there, plus it being a bit more, I guess, plain just makes it more special when they open up and see all of this inside. So 4 pieces of the 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then for the back piece, because I've done that in this pattern, this piece is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and I've just stamped "Have a Wild Birthday." And all of these stamps, the yay is going to be the middle bit, which I'll show you in a minute. So I've taken that from the Sentiments 2, my stamp set. Yay, it's your birthday, and that's going to be the pop-up in the middle. I'll give you the measurements for the oval in a minute. And then I've just taken the little chimp there, and then from this one I've taken the signpost for both sides there. So you've got the Go Bananas and then the Go Wild, and that's again from the Just Chilling. I've already gone ahead and stuck this side down here, and this is just using my leaves and flowers. These are the Jungle Leaves and Flowers, again from a past collection, and they just work really well with these papers, so I've taken those ones. So the mats and layers here will vary depending on what stamped image you're going to have, but I've got the smallest is 2 3/8 by 3 1/4. Then I have 2 7/8 by 3 1/2, and then I've got 3 1/8 by 4. But any size will work in that space depending on the stamped images that you have. And then this oval here is 3 by about 3 3/4, and you'll see that that's going to sit perfectly in there. Then to make the little pop out, if you want to, you can just stick it on 1/2 like that, but when the card's open like this, it's going to be on the side. In many of my tutorials, I like to make these little kind of center panels just to allow your sentiment to be straight on. So this is a piece of 3 by 1 inch. You might want to bring this down. You might not want it 1 inch wide. You may want it thicker if you've got a bigger topper, but if you're doing the same size card as me, I think this is going to be fine. And then along the 3 inch side, I've scored at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inches and 2 1/2. And then all I did was, you want to fold the first score line so it's a valley, the next score line so it's a mountain, then the one next is a mountain again, and then you finish with a valley. You basically want the 2 pieces to be able to fold in underneath that 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to use my quick grab glue to attach this. So you want to add some glue onto the 2 outer tabs there, okay? And then you're going to stick this. You kind of want to pop it together like that, so you might get a bit messy with the glue. You want the join in the middle there to sit either side of this, and you want it in the middle there as well. And I'm just kind of moving it either side to push it down, but you'll see that stays flat and facing outwards. So if these are a little bit wonky like mine are, it really doesn't matter, because once we now stick this on, you can move that around and make sure this is straight. So I'm just going to squeeze that down so it's nice and secure. So I've just realised something. When I go to stick this down and it's going to go this side, it needs to stay within this section and mine doesn't. So I'm going to give you a measurement. I'm going to, basically what I'm going to do is when you open the card, it's going to be slightly off to the right, because when I close this, I'm going to slide it down as close to the edge as I can and make sure it's in the middle there. See, it's right up there, so I've just stuck it down, but when you stick it you want to slide it right up as close as you can to there. But I would suggest you just want to double the width of this for your sentiments. So this is 1.5, so I would say this piece needs to be no wider than 3 inches, and I'll mark that in my blog. But now, because obviously I don't want to waste this, but when I open that up, you're not really going to know that that's not dead center, but it just means when we close the card, it stays within this section. Hopefully that makes sense. The width of it, you can keep the same as what I did, which I think was about 3, wasn't it? Let me just, yeah. So 3 by 3 is the size that you want to have as your center topper. But I think it still kind of works because that middle bit moves. You can still get away with it. I really don't want to lose that. I was thinking about having to cut a bit off the sides, but I mean, I could fussy cut around it, but I think it's going to still work. Whoever I give this to is really not going to notice. So we're going to keep that like that. And then all you need to do now is start sticking your sides down. So I'm going to add my glue all along there. Again, I'm using the quick grab for the tabs, and we're just going to pop that over the top like so. If you find you've cut one slightly, you know, taller than the other, you can just snip that away. I think mine are just bang on there. Okay, so that's one side. So again, you might just want to keep that one side and write your message around here or on the very back there if you wanted to, and just have the card. See now, because that closes and then it all closes up, and then when they open it, like so, and then that pops out. And then I'm going to take this one here, so I want to put my glue all along that one. Like so. And then I'm going to take this one here, stick this on the very back. Okay, so that's everything stuck down. And then I'm going to stick this here, have my Go Wild on that side, and then I'm just going to copy, it's just a reflection, a mirror image of what I've done just here on this side. I've got my hot glue gun on, so I'm going to get that all stuck down. So there's the finished card. I think it looks wonderful, really lovely. I love the way it looks when it stands up. So you can just move that around a little bit because mine's off center now. It's a little bit, needs working a bit, but there you go, it's fine. And then you fold the whole thing up. Bearing in mind, you're only going to fold this down once, and then once the person receives it, they're going to open it. There we go. Just tuck that in a little bit there, but that will now fit in one of my box envelopes. And then they've got the space there on the back to write the message. And I like the way it just pops out there, and it goes all into shape. If anything, all they've got to do is just move that if they want to get it a bit straighter, but it pops straight out. So there you have it, my center panel or trifold center panel pop. I don't know, it'll be in the title anyway once I've decided what to call it. But I hope you've enjoyed this style today. I'll add this to the Showstopper playlist because it's one of those big, you know, wide cards that I have. And yeah, I can't wait to see your versions of this. If you'd like to share anything that you've made following my tutorials, you can over on the Mixed Up Crafters Facebook group, and that will be linked in the description box below. Popping up now will be some other Showstopper cards, those long big mantle pleasers. So if you like something like this and you want to see some others, then check out the ones popping up, and there's also a playlist with loads on there as well. I'll link all of the products that I've used today in the description box below. And again, if you've enjoyed today and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. It really helps me out as well if you do put a thumbs up next to this video if you've enjoyed it. So take care everybody, and I'll be back again very soon.